Some of Marshall's most sparkling moves look at first like typographical errors. William Edward Napier. Hello chess lovers, Soren here, and in this video I want to share with you an interesting game played by legendary American chess player Frank Marshall. Marshall is on the black side and he's playing against English chess player Edward Mackenzie Jackson. The game was played in 1899 in London. Jackson opened up with e4, to which Marshall answered with e5, bishop c4, bishop's opening is on the board. Knight f6, we see the so-called Berlin defense, d3, d5, and let me tell you that this is a line which usually can't create problems for black. Meanwhile, white is trying to put pressure on e5 square, but of course there are no problems in black's camp. If f takes e5, then knight d4 can follow. In the game we see knight f3 and black pinned white knight. h3, an exchange on f3 followed, knight goes back on b6, and this time white is pinning black knight, but on move 10 finally black manages to castle kingside, something which is problematic to do for white. This diagonal is controlled by black's dark squared bishop, and a move like bishop e3 can step into an exchange of bishops, and then black can exploit the weakness of the e-file. So white played bishop takes c6, b takes c6, and f5. White is trying to keep the position as close as possible, but there comes e4. Black is making a pawn sacrifice, at the cost of which is opening up the d-file. Oops, what's happening? The d-file, and now we'll also put a useful pressure on e4. Knight c3, knight d5, g3. Probably the reason of g3 was in some cases to prevent a check from h4. Knight b4, queen e2, queen d4. All the time black is intensifying the pressure, and king f1. White is now trying to castle by hand, is moving away the king from the vulnerable e-file. King g2 and knight takes c3, b takes c3, queen takes e4 check. Finally, black is managing to win back the sacrificed pawn. At this point, we have a material equality on the board, but of course black's position is slightly preferable because black has a more active position. Rook f2 check, king g4, and now black is starting to chase white king. h5, we see another pawn sacrifice, and after king takes h5 we see g6. All the time Frank Marshall is trying his luck and wants to target this white king. F takes g6, and the queenside rook is also joining the attack. King g4, f5 check, king h4, king g7, coming after the pawn on g6, and bishop f4. A mistake which is allowing black to win. Playing king h5 is better. If f4 check, then king g4, and it seems like that in this case white is managing to fight back and is surviving. We have an equality on the board, but in the game bishop f4 was made, and now let's see what's the problem with it. Right now the rook on e5 is hanging, but Marshall cold-heartedly munched the pawn on g6. The rook is untouchable because of this bishop e7 check, and suddenly white king is getting checkmated. After king takes g6, as bishop g5 is now the threat, white neutralized it by playing bishop g5, but already we have a forced mate in 3. Please pause the video and try to find Marshall's next move. Ready? This time we see a staggering rook f4 sacrifice, after which resignation followed. If g takes f4, then bishop f2 checkmate is coming, and if bishop takes f4, then bishop e7 check followed by bishop takes g5 checkmate. Truly a spectacular finish, right? We first see king g6 offering this rook, and then after bishop g5, rook f4 follows, and all black could do was to extend his hand. At least I hope so, that he extended his hand and congratulated the winner. In the end, a chess puzzle for you where the task is to win with the white pieces. The task is very easy, and as usual, we'll wait for your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in my next video.